Well, hello again. As promised, I had posted on the live stream on Jack Crafty's live stream last night that I would be posting a video on something cool from Ohio again. So we're referring back to our lovely book here, Ohio Flint Types. And we'll go back here. This is a timeline of different culture periods. And today we are going to discuss the Fort Ancient culture. About 1000 AD, Fort Ancient culture, Fort Ancient culture in southern Ohio, Erie culture in northern Ohio, and Monongahela in eastern Ohio, all part of a large agricultural villages. So that's sort of like the Mississippian culture. Fort Ancient is part of the Mississippian culture, and the Erie culture and Monongahela are parts of that greater whole Mississippian culture. And as promised, I was going to show you my collection of Fort Ancient culture triangle points. Look at those. These are all from Southern Ohio. Um, I picked up a lot of these on various sites. Some along the Ohio River, some in other creeks and rivers that flow in Fort Ancient sites. There is a There is a number of Fort Ancient sites I collected on that were on the Great Miami River, and the Little Miami River is actually where the type site, the Fort Ancient original site, is was discovered at. It was a palisade fort, a mounded fort all around a large area. I believe it was encompassing about maybe a half mile to a mile. And as you see, Fort Ancient points are generally triangular in shape. Some of them are serrated like this one and this one. That's probably some of the better ones that you'll find, Fort Ancient triangles. A lot of them will have this in incurvate or inverted sweeping sides to them. They curve in with a wide base. Oops, that one's trying to get out of the box here. But generally, they'll be pretty much like a standard triangle. They can be wide like this, but triangular. They can be serrated. Um, and they come in different varieties of material. Most of these tan colored materials that I have in the frame here are what's called Brush Creek Chert, and I'll show you a picture of that out of the book here in a minute. But they that's the primary material that most Fort Ancient points in southern Ohio are made of, is Brush Creek Chert. And Brush Creek is a tributary that feeds into the Ohio River. Pretty much, there's a Fort Ancient site along the Ohio River wherever any of these creeks come in. Brush Creek, White Oak Creek, Turtle Creek, which comes into the Ohio River on the Kentucky side, Eagle Creek, several different other rivers. Anytime you find a large river or creek stream that dumps in the Ohio River, you can pretty much bet that on one of those corners of the river there, where those two rivers meet, you're going to find a Fort Ancient site. It's guaranteed, pretty much. Just about every little creek or tributary that fed into the Ohio River, I found Fort Ancient arrowheads in. Some of the other interesting materials you'll find, there's some darker stuff here. This is Coshocton black or Coshocton gray. That sometimes shows up because the Scioto River, which runs up near Coshocton County and where Coshocton black and gray flint is found, that river flows eventually into the Ohio. So it would make sense that you would find Fort Ancient points uh, made of that material. Sometimes you'll find this piece like this, and this knife right here. And I'm trying to see. There's this here probably. Those are Carter Cave uh, flint from northern Kentucky. Never been to the source or tried to find that Carter Cave material, but you do find it showing up in the archaeological record. Um, some of these points, I would say, are probably Fort Ancient knives because of the size they are. I mean, according to the book, they said that the Fort Ancient knives are usually around 2 inches long. These are definitely not 2 inches long, but you can see they're quite wide and probably weren't used um, for an arrow point. They might have been, but the vast majority of them you see are kind of skinny or small and streamlined, and those were true arrowheads. Um, Oddball right here is this little Fort Ancient drill. They did produce flint drills in the Fort Ancient culture period. So, and some of these are restored. I might do a little fun thing where I might post a picture of this frame, and I might highlight or circle the ones that have been restored, and you can try to pick out which ones you think are restored. I did all the restoration myself on some of the broken ones. Some of them were so beautiful and so nice that I just had to try and restore them, and that was fairly simple. You put a little um, gel, super glue, couple little blobs on the edge of the break. It gives you a little something for Bondo to attach to. And then you'd put the Bondo on and you sand it and blend it in so it's flush with the rest of the point surface. And then I just went in with acrylic paints, mixing and trying to experiment and blended some colored paints and basically painted the Bondo. So that's kind of a little do it yourself restoration project. I'm sure everybody has points they found that are broken and real heartbreakers, and um, I've had a little bit of success with trying to restore some of the stuff. Some points I have in my collection, I would probably pay the money to have them professionally restored, but in this case, I just tried it myself, and I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not going to zoom in on any of them because it'll be fun for all you guys to try and pick out the ones that look like they've been restored. So, back over here to our book, I'm gonna show you a couple different examples of Fort Ancient culture points and some of the sources of flint for them. And you can see here in the book, these are all Fort Ancient culture. And you can see they're kind of triangle shaped. This, like I said, this book has some really nice drawings and also has some good black and white pictures. So this is one type of Fort Ancient triangle point. There is also the serrated ones. Some of these are pretty good serrations on them, but not. I think I got a couple in my frame that are really nicely serrated. But like I said, you can see some good examples. You can see a lot. Some of them are made out of the Coshocton black or gray, but a lot of them they'll mention this in the picture I'll show you of the flint sources. A lot of them are made out of that Brush Creek chert. It was a very popular local material that this culture used. These are the Fort Ancient knives, and like you can see here, they say they're around 2.5 to 5 inches long. Now, the ones in my frame that are pretty big, I would have to say are probably they're probably Fort Ancient knives, but they might have been resharpened down. So that's probably why mine aren't quite as big as these. And again, you got the black and white colored pictures and some really nice drawings of them. Another thing from the Fort Ancient culture, and I may try to see if I have some of these. I'm sure I do in another frame, but they had bi-pointed knives. And those ranged as small as 2 inches, and some may reach up to 4 inches long. I'm sorry, I apologize for the glare. And then, like I said, more black and white pictures. And let's move back here in the book. And this is at Brush Creek Church. It's pretty recognizable. It kind of has a tan brown, kind of a dirty mustard, gray poupon mustard color to it. And if you look at it closely, some of the pieces you'll see these little rust inclusions. That's I believe that's a pyrite mineral that was in the chert, and as it gets exposed, it'll turn to like a little rust pocket or little rust pits. And then this is where Brush Creek Chert is found. They give you a nice little description in this book, and there's a map of Ohio, and it's found in, I believe that is Adams County. Now, my friend and I used to hunt. I lived up here in Butler County, and Cincinnati is down here in Hamilton County. So we'd get on 52 right outside of Cincinnati, and we'd follow the river all the way around. We'd go all the way down, usually down to like Portsmouth area over here. Sometimes we went over to this little peninsula part of Ohio that's called Little Italy sometimes, because it looks like a little boot, like the country of Italy. And yeah, so we hunted all the time, all along here. Drove my wife crazy because we'd get up at like 6 in the morning, have a breakfast at my friend Dan's house, and then we'd jump in the car and we'd drive down and hit all the different fields that we would find or had access to along the Ohio River. And in Adams County, Brush Creek, where this source of chert comes from, there's a Brush Creek that flows through the county and comes into the Ohio River. And we found Fort Ancient sites up there on Brush Creek. So yeah, lots of arrowhead hunting and memories down there. I loved it. Perhaps I may try to come back down there again and look. But these Fort Ancient sites are very, very rich. When we hunted these fields, the one field in particular, we used to go to the Hardin Village site, which is right across the river from Scioto County in Kentucky. It's right in this big point here where the Ohio River makes that big bend or point. And the way I could describe those Fort Ancient fields, the amount of debitage and just material, broken pottery, arrow points, drills, all kinds of flint tools, bone tools, clamshells, because they ate a lot of clamshells. That field, the Hardin Village site, was so intense. You basically took baby steps walking in the field with a stick. And because there was so much material, I have to describe it as if you took one of those large, I think there's a C-130 or C-140 military cargo planes. If you filled one of those planes up with all this material and just flew over a field and just shoveled it out the back of the plane and let it fall and just scatter all over the field, that's what a Fort Ancient site is like. They're usually just littered with all kinds of debris. It's quite fascinating. I think that's the only main source of flint. Sometimes you find some Bisher chert, and that's very pretty stuff too. You'll find that, and that's actually kind of right in the same area where the Fort Ancient Culture's main sites were, in Adams County and the neighboring county up above, which is Highland County. That's where the sources of this type of church found in. Don't know if I got any Carter Cave material here. It's in the book here, but yeah, there's Carter Cave material. But yeah, Fort Ancient sites are a lot of fun to hunt because, like I said, there's just tons and tons of material. Here's some 4 Mile Creek chert. When I hunted in Butler County on the Great Miami River, there was a Schumacher site. It was a pretty good, significant Fort Ancient site, and find a lot of this type of material also. This is 4 Mile Creek chert, and it's found in Preble County, which is just north of where I lived. Very good material. It's kind of rough, not the best material to flake. Same thing with Brush Creek. Brush Creek is very rough material, I would think, to work. A lot of the points you find made out of it has a lot of nasty hinge fractures and steps in it. And yeah, it's not the most wonderful flint to work, but the Fort Ancient people, they were more sedentary. They weren't nomadic and traveling around much. They had large agricultural fields that they grew crops in for food, and they basically used the local whatever chert or flint that they could find in their immediate area. So, anyhow, hope you like this video. Share, subscribe, comment, anything. It'll help the channel out a lot. And I appreciate everybody. And if you leave comments and I know who you are, I always try to respond back. So thank you very much.